Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I want to be taking a look at the Demi trainer from the Witch from Mercury line of kits. Inside the box, you'll find the instruction manual and 3 runners, the A, the B, and the C runner. And of course the sticker sheet. Looks like you can choose which color you want to go on the front of your Demi trainer to kind of be a team, whatever you want. So I'm going to start with panel lining each of the runners that will need the panel liner. For that I use Tamiya panel line accent color black. And then this is just a pigment liner. It's water based and it's water resistant. It works out pretty well. It doesn't really matter what kind you get. This one's just a cheapo that I got in a hobby shop for free. So I'll show how to use the pen first. So with the pen, you want to come to wider panels and take the pen right inside and just lightly drag it down. Do on both sides, and there you go. And so then you just want to come to the rest of the small panels here, and boom, that piece will be done. So since this is a water-based pen, it does flow a little bit easier, but there's still spots where it will have trouble getting down in. So you will see that you will have to kind of get a little bit more extra out of the pen and kind of move it to that spot that you want, kind of how I did there on the waist armor. So I'm going to go through and do the spots that need it with the pen real quick, and I'll kind of show the difference between the pen and the actual panel liner. Both of these options work. I like this. No worry about it taking out any of your plastic due to corrosion. The only time this will really do that is if you use too much and leave it on the model kit, or decide that you want to try to use it on ABS plastic, which is highly not recommended. It is pretty corrosive to ABS and will kind of devour through it. So when you're panel lining curved surfaces like this, I like to leave as much of the center uncolored as possible and just try to provide a dark outline. So just like that. And that's pretty easy with this pen, as it has a pretty rounded tip. So you can kind of just get it right in there and bam. Now that one turned out a little darker than I would like, but that's fine. We can always just come through and darken up all of them. And this is always an option too. If you feel like you wanted a lighter panel line somewhere and it didn't work out, you can always come back over previous panel lines and make them darker. So this is just the A runner. Running through it, there's not a lot to panel line. Like, you won't touch any of these gray pieces with panel lining, hands, joint parts. There's no need to touch any of that. So really this is pretty much done. There's a couple of small spots we can hit with panel liner, and we'll just hit some spots with the pigment marker here, providing some dark squares like that. If you get like a big surface area like we have on 19 here, that's best to just take to the panel liner. So I'll try showing you guys that. I always give my panel liner a shake, make sure nothing's trapped in the bottom, everything's moving around as it should. I always wipe down the excess. You don't want too much of it. And so when this, you just kind of want to touch it right into where you want it. You're going to end up with a little bit of overflow from time to time, just like I got here, but that's fine. We'll show you how to clean that up as well. So make sure you get all the panel liner where you want it. Then you just kind of want to give that a second. Make sure you go around, complete any lines that didn't get completed by the run. With this Tamiya panel liner, it really runs pretty quickly. So you can kind of see where it'll fill in. So now you'll see I got a lot of overspill. We're going to go ahead and clean up that overspill. So what I like to use is just your standard Q-tip. Come to it and kind of wipe away any of this overspill. And you'll see it'll darken it up in spots. Just like that. It'll look kind of rough, but that's a lot of overspill that we don't want on our model. And you'll see some spots are hard to get panel line in. Which is fine. I use X20 enamel thinner when coming through. I also like to use a sharper Q-tip when using this. I don't want to put too much of this on a model at all, so I get one side in and then just kind of lightly come through. Clean up any spots that you see that you don't want. And then take your Q-tip right after applying. Everything just kind of brushes off. And then if you need to, again, once again, you can just kind of come through and use this to clean up anywhere that you see that you don't want panel liner to be. So this was a good example of overspill and how to clean it up. As you can see, that's coming clean pretty well, but we're going to go ahead and get a little bit more thinner on here. Just where it's not wanting to come absolutely clean at. Like right here, you just kind of give it a good scrub. And everything should come right up, see, just like that. Now, so I didn't really want too dark of panel lines on this, but to match with my other panel lines, we'll go ahead and match them up and make them both all dark. Now, when you have spill from this pen, you can see it'll start leaking out of the panel line spot, which, once again, no big deal. We'll just take a little bit of our thinner. And the thinner, see this? The thinner will come and can take it right out, no issue. So it's really not a big deal. You shouldn't be afraid to panel line. Just remember, don't panel line your ABS plastics. ABS plastic, no panel line. Anything else though, go for it. And most panel line is pretty quick to dry, so you won't really need to worry too much about it getting runny, as long as you follow the simple rule of don't over panel. If you over panel, you will always have a runoff, and if you end up with a lot of runoff, then you need to maybe calm back on how much you're using. Most of the time though, you're not going to really require a lot of panel liner. And I mean, I've had this for over a year now, so it does last a long time, and it is worth having just for the cleaning up of kits, making them look a little bit better. Panel lining always brings a kit to life. So here we have runner A. We'll just go around everywhere real quick. where we wanted panel line on here to make it a little darker. We come through like that. And once again, how big you want your panel lines is purely an aesthetic choice. You can't really do it wrong. So that's about our panel lining for section A of our runners. Section C won't really receive any panel line, just being gray. Doesn't really need any. So we'll set C aside. Let's take a look at B. Oh, got a dog here. So section B here, it looks like is a lot of the armor pieces, which you definitely want to take your time and panel line those really good, because that's going to be the majority of what is seen on the kit when you are done. So armor, now the same rule applies with this as it did previously. We just want to come to the spots that we see that look like they should be a black line, just like that. Even some of them are just spots. But getting every spot on it is a very important part of making it look uniform as well. And if you don't have enough panel liner on this brush, you'll be able to tell right away just with how the brush reacts when it puts down panel liner. You'll be able to also tell if you have too much. So that would be that portion done. And that looks like we're about good for panel lining on this guy. So that will be it for panel lining, and in part 2 we will be assembling. Thank you everyone, and I hope you guys have a great evening, day, afternoon, wherever you are.